class, Professor Dockeray here. This is probably my last video update since the semester is almost over. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the final story project. I'll start out with some kind of general tips to complete it, common mistakes that I see, and then after that I'm going to go through the final story project outline and really show you where to get that information for each question. So if you're the kind of student who doesn't like to watch my 10-minute videos, at least watch the first 2 or 3 minutes and we'll do some general updates. I have some notes for myself, so that's why I'm looking away. Number 1, the whole premise of this project is that you're pretending it's, 8 to 10 years in the future, so let's say 2030, and you're reflecting back on your accomplishments and how you got there. So it's important that you're writing or speaking in past tense. So it's not, I will get this degree. It's, in 2025, I graduated from UCF and then I got a job, make up a fictional company or a real company that you hope to work at someday. That's kind of the fun of this assignment, is that you get to create your ideal path. You don't necessarily have to play by the rules. I mean, it has to be realistic. You can't just, say you live on Mars now or something like that. So that also brings the idea of the setting. That's something that students struggle with a little bit. Who would you be telling this story to 10 years from now? Some students pick to pretend they're like on a talk show or at career day at their child's school, maybe talking to new hires at their hospital or something like that, whatever works with your career choice. Now, if you're doing a video or a voiceover, it's really easy to tell me about the setting. You would have some kind of introduction or bit of info to the crowd. If you're doing a slideshow, it's a little tougher. So I would recommend adding a slide towards the beginning that just gives a really, even if it's bullet points, just tells me about your setting, where you are, if it's not clear from the PowerPoint. You'll see some examples. I believe in the folder there's one, maybe it was Jimmy Fallon's show. So obviously I knew what it was. It's a picture of her sitting there with Jimmy Fallon. So I get the setting. But make sure that that's clear somehow, either in your PowerPoint or your video or something like that. Also, everyone must include a script. Think of a movie or a play or television script. It's just word for word what you will be saying in the voiceover. If you choose not to do a voiceover, you still have to submit a script. The script should essentially be an essay form of the PowerPoint. So what would you say if you did do a voiceover? Let's see. Follow the outline. The outline is a assignment that I made up specifically to try to combat some of those common issues that I was finding, the information students tend to leave out. So if you cover every single thing in the outline fully, you should pass the final project. The one bit in there would be the career interview. It's not included in the rubric of the final story project. So if you didn't do the career interview, or maybe you just decided you didn't want to follow that career, you don't have to mention it. Certainly helps make your project a bit stronger, but it's not a necessity. Again, be as creative or not as you want. This is really your opportunity. As long as you hit all the criteria, you should be fine. Of course, I'd prefer if you didn't hand in, a white PowerPoint with black text, even if you're not doing a video. But if you are doing a video, get into character, wear an outfit, or, get your family to be the audience or something like that. Okay, now we're going to start going into the outline. This will show you why it's so important to do all the assignments this semester, because each element of the outline is really drawing on one of the assignments we've already done. So very little of the final story project, aside from, making the video, writing the script, and or making the PowerPoint, is something that you have to do original work on. So all of the information in the outline should come from past assignments. So let's look at the outline. Okay, so kind of touched on these first two questions already. It's just, how are you going to do the video, and what's your audience? So remember to address that somehow. Come on, scroll. There we go. Okay, part 2, purpose. So this goes back to your purpose assignment. You're just going to tell me what your purpose statement was when we did those assignments. You're going to explain why. It should be pretty easy. Why do you think the way you do? Now, the next question it asks how your statement connects to your values, goals, interests, and strengths. Just a tip, whenever it asks you about your goals, your strengths, your interests, or your values, these are referring back to the assessments we've done all semester. So your strength is your Clifton strengths, your interest is the interest inventory, the values is the values assessment in my plan in Atlas. So these are just not, my values are, religion or something. No, what are your assessment results? And most importantly, in order to tell me how your statement connects to those goals, you have to tell me what the goals are, or what the interests are, or what the strengths are. Don't just say, it connects to my strengths, because I don't know if there's a connection if you don't tell me what those strengths actually are. So the last piece, how does your personal purpose statement inform your career goals? That just is asking, how does your career goal really fit your purpose statement? How does it help? So for example, if your personal purpose statement is to, save all the animals in the world, if your career is to be a vet or own an animal shelter, that connection's pretty clear. But for some of you, it may not be. So now we move to the career pathway section, and most of this is going to be from the guided career research assignment, where you went into Ferguson's Career Guidance Center and looked up your career and found out that basic information. So you're going to talk about your career pathway. So this is after school, not what degrees you earned, but what jobs did you have that helped you get to this position? If you want to be a CEO of a company, you don't just graduate college and become a CEO. You work your way up. So again, this is fictional, but it should be somewhat believable. Did you do an internship at Lockheed Martin? Do you now work at Google? Whatever fits with your career and really your aspirations, like where would you like to work? What kind of positions from your research might you have to have first? So the description of the profession and the workforce skills. Most students forget one or the other. So don't forget to give me a description of the profession. This is, what do you do every day if you're a pediatric nurse? And then the workforce skills are those more general skills, things like, computer skills, communication skills, being a good listener, those kinds of skills. So you have to include both of those. Career interview, mentioned. If you did the career interview and you found it helpful, you can go ahead and include that. If you didn't, don't sweat it. So now the academic pathway is going to refer to our latest assignments, the academic blueprint and grad ready. So you're going to tell me about your academic pathway. Remember, we're talking 10 years in the future, so this may not be just Valencia. So tell me where you went to school and what the degree was that you earned. Don't just tell me you graduated from Valencia. What did you have at the end? The next one, again, when we're talking about goals, interests, strengths, and values, we're talking about those assessments, not your personal strengths and things like that. The cost breakdown. Tell me what the actual cost was from the grad ready assignment. and again, speculate on how you funded your education. You should have talked about this in your grad ready reflection. You know, do your parents have Florida prepaid for you? You know, did you have to take out loans? Do you have a part-time job? Tell me how you're going to do this. And then this last part, it could be from purpose, but it could also might be kind of like an original thought. And it's asking what Valencia resources helped you become successful or helped you develop your educational path. Pretty self-explanatory. So we used all kinds of tools this semester. It could be this class. It could be Atlas and My Plan. It could be the college catalog. It could even be something like, you know, the tutoring center helped me, or the advising center. So this is really your, you know, there's no wrong answer here except Valencia didn't help me at all. That would be a wrong answer, but okay. And then language and delivery, just try to make the best video you can. You know, think about your body language. What's in the background of your video? Are you making eye contact with me, or, you know, are you like me reading your notes? Just remember, this is your final project, so you should treat it as such. You know, it's not just a quick video on the fly like I'm making right now. So I hope this has proven to be helpful, and don't forget to finish your outlines this week, and best of luck on your final story project. If you have any questions or anything is still unclear, feel free to reach out to me.